They got moved from Raw to SmackDown. Again, another tag team, Candice LeRae, Indy Hartwell, who definitely had history. They've been tag teams since NXT. They were NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, and they started to become heels as we started on Monday Night Raw. Also moved to SmackDown. Then Candice LeRae's real life husband, Johnny Gargano, and Tommaso Ciampa, DIY, former NXT Tag Team Champions, and they even in the WrestleMania 6-pack tag team match at WrestleMania for the championships. Also got moved from Raw to SmackDown. They also got moved there. So I noticed that these were significant changes with the draft. Now, for some reason, they did that. I noticed that they have more ADHD. Oh, you don't like Lyra, do you? Gerard said. Let's see how they're trapping. They'll get a main roster or makeup. We'll see. Ring card on SmackDown, but I want Piper in singles. I think they're going to keep her in the tag team because Chelsea needs a tag team. Remember, there's no more Chelsea. Ain't no more of that. Well, card. Let me leave that part out. That she doesn't have that no more. No more of that buzz. Now she has to really show herself in the tag team with Piper Niven. So Piper could be good at singles. Wrong thing about it is Chelsea needs Piper more than Piper needs Chelsea. But yeah, she looks innocent to thirst trap. But yeah, that's one thing I noticed. There are tag teams going from Raw to SmackDown, and these are real original. These are real tag teams. Not no people they just threw together. These are actual tag teams. Some even have long history, as we can see. So definitely. Also, I mentioned this as well. We got stables that were all on SmackDown. They went to Raw. We got Damage CTRL, SmackDown. Nothing else for them to do. Bayley defeated EO, won the belt. Damage CTRL, they still got the tag team belts. I understand why they went to Raw. Final Testament, same thing. They feuded with Bobby Lashley and the Pride, and Bobby Lashley defeated him at WrestleMania in the Philadelphia Street Fight. Moved to Raw. Understandable as well. LWO, this kind of cracks in the league. You got Carlito, who just turned on LWO, but he's a part of the draft. He continues on with LWO, who was feuded with Legado del Fantasma, whatever that's called. You know, Santos Escobar stable. That was done. Now they go to Raw. So that's a significant change I noticed as well with that. You know. So I noticed that as well. That was, you know. But with that being said, these stables going to Raw. I'm trying to see what is Raw gonna do with three stables on that came from SmackDown. What are they gonna do with these three stables as a whole? What can they do significantly with these three stables? How would this work? How would this go? That's my main question regarding that. How would this work at all? You know, you got three stables, 1, 2, 3. So I noticed that change as well. Yeah, that is a boost. I'm happy for them as well. Like I said, I don't know what will be the next move. I hope they do some of these three stables. I knew Final Testament was gone because once we saw Final Testament on NXT, I knew that the SmackDown thing was done. They was going to get moved to Raw or NXT for that matter. So that was not surprising to me, at least not to me. I didn't see that how it would make sense for them to stay on SmackDown. So that I don't know. I don't know how that will go. You know, and also, you know, that's another thing with the draft. And then it brings back some of these rivalries that we had previously. It brings that back as well. So with that being said, not only does it bring it back with rivalries, we also see how it's going to rekindle a rivalry, and we kind of saw that on Monday Night Raw. What do I mean by that? Dominic and Rey Mysterio. These both father and son are on the same show once again, and we saw that. Rey said he's on Raw now, LWO. Dominic, with his new mustache, he's hurt though, but he told Dom told his dad Rey, stay out Judgment Day way. They still run Raw, and we see they still run Raw. So that's another thing. That's what I see. Fantasma on Raw. Let's see how they booked and start. As thus far, they're not over. No, they're not over. That's why they got moved to Raw. Don't get me wrong, I like Lyra, but I'm not favoring her on the main roster. Okay, so you're a fan of her, just you wish she had been in NXT more. Understandable. Ivar is currently in program over my favorite NXT. Yeah. Ivar is on NXT and he's challenging for the NXT North American Championship. Viking Warriors, Eric is currently still out with the neck injury. He got hurt in November, so he's still out. But yeah, this will rekindle some stuff with this will also rekindle stuff with Dom and Ray with this whole draft, you know. And like I said, I highlight the NXT picks, that as well. But yeah, definitely, guys. This is going to definitely rekindle this. And I can see Dominic beating Ray this time. Dominic's going to beat Ray this time. Mark my words. He will beat his dad. And he will beat his dad this time. And also, Ray's going to retire soon. LWO is probably the finishing last piece for Ray's career. So that I would say that brought out that storyline as well. Another thing too with the whole draft as a whole, I think as a whole they need to only change the draft to NXT to get drafted. Raw and SmackDown need to do trades. They just need to do trades because we saw the genuine expression when people on SmackDown, people in NXT that were drafted to Raw or SmackDown, we saw how genuinely happy they were. And I know that was not just any type of shocker. These people were really happy that they were going to each brand. So I think they need to keep that same momentum for, NXT moving forward because it really benefits them more than anybody else. It don't really benefit Raw and SmackDown. A draft supposed to be someone who's never been on the main roster before. This is the first time. It's like going to the NBA or NFL for the very first time. We could see the genuine expressions from these people. We saw that in the draft. We want to see that. That's how it should be. If you want to compare this to a real draft, I think that's how it should go down in the first place. And I don't think they really did that before. That they should keep that same momentum going in. I think that would be the best thing for them. At least that's how I would book it. If you're going to book it, genuinely. We saw that, in this whole scenario. Book it right. Book it to favor NXT people. Honestly, you can't tell me storyline or not. You can't tell me that when we saw in it with the draft, you can't tell me that we did not see from a mile away. You can't tell me we saw right front and center that these were very genuine expressions of these girls. Look at Kiana James. Look at Lyra Valkyria. Look at Blair Davenport. These women were very excited, happy to be on the main roster. These were genuine expressions, no acting, no storyline, no nothing. This needs to benefit. We see it right there. Those are clear examples. 1 example, 2 examples, 3 examples. That's why I believe that they need to do that. They need to go ahead and just book the draft much better around those type of brand for NXT. Look, they had a live crowd around them each time. We saw that. Everybody had a live crowd and everybody was genuinely happy for them. So if anything, make that around NXT. What do you guys have to say? Dragon Lee still has to receive baton to be next Rey Mysterio. No, I'm sorry to say this, guys. I think Dragon Lee's going to be the next Sin Cara. I think he's going down the Sin Cara path. If he gets hurt, it's all over. He's going to be, I see him as another Sin Cara at this point. Dragon Lee is not over with the crowd, but they love his performance in the ring. Just like Sin Cara. He's like Sin Cara. Gerard said Deonna Purrazzo blocked me on Twitter because I told her despite having a sexy walk, she should improve her shape. Oh yeah, Deonna don't like that. Yeah, she very don't like nobody has as they call body shaming her. She don't like that. But other than that, though, with the draft, I think the draft should be definitely around NXT people, and Raw and SmackDown should only get trade this person for this trade. We see it with the stables, the tag team. Trade this tag team for that tag team. This stable for this stable. This superstar for this superstar. Male or female, don't matter. Only trade Raw and SmackDown. You don't need to do all this draft SmackDown. We driving to a show already been on. How about do a trade? That's how the NFL, NBA, and MLB do it. Only draft only for NXT. That only makes sense to do at this point. Kiana James, another AEW loss. She was good in the ring. Oh, she was in AEW? I didn't know Kiana James was in AEW. Yeah, Kiana James would definitely be a heel. Now I will say this too. With the drafts, like I said, we highlighted NXT people. We highlighted the tag teams. We highlighted the stables and certain individuals. And I said it too. There were some good picks, very good picks. But the thing about it is, what is the final analysis on the draft? My final analysis on the draft regarding this whole thing. Yeah, I'm happy Naomi got to jump on Tiffy too. Tiffy time. My draft grade on analysis on the whole thing. I give the draft a 4 out of 5. The reason I say 4 out of 5 because it was some good combats with Braun Strowman. We saw Nia Jax go to SmackDown, Andrade go to SmackDown. We saw plenty of people get called from NXT. We had not just Lyra Valkyrie, Blair Davenport, Dijak, and Ilya Dragunov. We also had Kiana James and Carmelo Hayes. You know, that's 6 people. In addition to recently Tiffany, Stratton, and Braun Breaker, who already was already on main roster before the draft. So, with that being said, they are definitely developing NXT people on Raw or SmackDown. The tag teams have been switched, and we have brand new titles, new designs, new era. The draft was lousy night 1, but they definitely made up for it night 2. With that being said, I give the draft a 4 out of 5 review. Now, like I said, just because I give it 4 out of 5 doesn't mean I can't give critical review. They still need to change this whole draft to this show. They still need to change keeping people on the same show, drafted to the same show. Still change that concept. Just make a trade or don't move them at all. And I'm also not big on the whole champions are protected. Because back in the day, I said this before and I'll say it again, champions were drafted. Remember when John Cena in 2005 got drafted from SmackDown's WWE champion to Monday Night Raw? Remember when Batista, who's World Heavyweight Champion on Monday Night Raw in 2005, got drafted to Friday Night SmackDown? So let's see stuff like that again. Or we'll get more recent memory. Triple H was the WWE champion on Raw. He got drafted to SmackDown. So let's see stuff like that happen. Let's see a buzz. There's no more of this color brand title. There's no more Raw and SmackDown branded name titles. There's no more Universal title. It's WWE Champion, World Heavyweight Champion. Let's just call it what it is. Let's see more of that. Vince, he did some things right in the draft back in the day, but we don't need him now. It's a mix, and certain people stayed on their brand. They didn't move. Yeah, change that concept. Still, they made up for it this time, but it was a big turnaround. And that's because mostly NXT. If it weren't for NXT call-ups, I would say this would have been a whole bust. The draft would have been a whole bust, but it wasn't. It actually was actually rebounded. I hope Vince doesn't come back and give Russell their first name only. No, I don't think so either. What's the point calling a draft when some Russell stay put? That's why I said change that whole concept. Change it. Just keep trades. Only keep the draft branded for NXT superstars only. Calling up to the main roster. That's why they say call up to the main roster. Only do draft for that. If it ain't an NXT person getting called up, even if they were on the main roster, it doesn't make sense. Raw and SmackDown do trades automatically. And that's how I will book that. And that's the best thing for that to do. Because if it's not like that, it don't make any kind of sense. And it's pointless. And it'll be a waste of everybody's time. People calling the draft, the superstars, everybody's a complete waste of time. And that's the last thing we want as WWE fans and superstars.